Good afternoon and welcome to the Wedding Extravaganza Very Special Experience. Today we're welcoming Dana Horwitz, who's the proprietor of the Water's Edge Event Center. And some of the questions that Dana added today really triggered some thought for me, and we have so much to go through. So we're really hoping that we can help you today with all your planning of your venue. I know that a lot of you just got engaged over the holidays and the venue's the first thing at the top of your mind. So Dana, welcome. Happy Tuesday.
Hello, it is good to be here, and hello to all you brides and grooms to be.
So Dana, tell us a little bit about your role at the Water's Edge Event Center.
I like to say in a wedding there are three rings: the engagement ring, the wedding ring, and Dana ring. That's my maiden name. But I am married almost 30 years. I have 5 children, 3 grandchildren, and if you can't tell on Zoom with my accent, I am from Manhattan, now living in Windsor. And I got married many July 2nds ago at the Water's Edge in New York City. I think my role is really offering the couples a lot of advice. Sometimes, you know, I'm not going to get every couple married at the Water's Edge. There's only 52 weeks in the year. But I like to, you know, give them information that perhaps they're not going to get in other places, whether it's the link to getting your marriage license now at City Hall, or the telephone number for a dog handler after Fido walks down the aisle with your engagement rings. So it's really helping couples avoid a lot of wedding hiccups to make sure they don't happen, really planning with them along the way.
So Dana, how far in advance should couples reach out to you if they're planning their wedding day and they're starting to look for the venue? What's the optimal amount of time in their timeline that they should start looking for the venue and reach out to you?
You know, COVID-19 really has thrown a monkey wrench into so many couples' planning process. I think most of my 2020 brides moved everything to 2021. So those newly engaged couples are now facing dates that are not available, people that are looking to get married in 2022. I have 2 married sons. They went from dating to being married in 4 months. So a 3-month engagement is not for everyone, but I have to tell you a secret. The time that you have to plan your wedding is as long as it's going to take. So if you'd like to get married in the summer because you're a teacher, July and August, you might not get this season. So it might have to be next wedding season. Maybe you're a student and you only want to get married during your winter break. So, you know, so many couples got engaged Christmas, New Year's, Valentine's Day coming up. I think it's finding the date you want and making it work. Once you have the venue, everything really does fall into place.
So Dana, would you advise couples that if they are getting married in 2021, it's going to be a little more challenging to find a venue, just because this is what I call a double cohort year?
It could be, but that's where being flexible comes into mind. My boys that got married very quickly did not get married on a Saturday. I got married on a Thursday. It was July 2nd. So it was the July 1st, July 4th weekend for everyone. So it really was the Thursday of a long holiday weekend. So if you're open-minded and flexible, you can definitely get a date. During wedding season, any wedding season, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're busy. Imagine having a Sunday brunch wedding. It changes your food options as well as the alcohol. I mean, who doesn't want to have pancakes and omelets and a mimosa? It certainly can change things up.
And I think that's another, if there are gifts in this past year, but a gift that this period in time in history has given us. And that's the fact that weddings don't have to look like a carbon copy. There are so many ways to do weddings, so many creative ways to do weddings. And when you say a brunch, you know, that's fantastic. That's my favorite meal.
I mean, who doesn't want to eat brunch? Yeah. And what a memorable experience. You know, what are you doing this weekend? I'm going to a Sunday wedding brunch.
Yes. Yeah. I love that. Weddings 101. So the proposal has happened. What's next?
For some people, that means the third phone call. You call your best friend, your mother-in-law, and then you start looking for a venue. Some girls have known for years where they want to get married, how they want to get married, and they're ready to book and plan. Other people sit back and relax, get a manicure, show off that engagement ring, and don't rush. So there's really no right or wrong when it comes to wedding planning.
So with the uncertainty of the size of guest lists, once again, going into the 2021 wedding season, how do you work with couples with this through your venue as their wedding date's getting closer, Dana?
We're having weddings in 2020 and now, even this week, 10 people can have a wedding ceremony at the water's edge. So that's the couple, the officiant, and 2 witnesses, and whoever else can fall into place. So you can get married. I always think the good thing about being a family-owned business that we don't listen to a board of directors. We always follow what the province, what the health department says. A few weeks ago, I could have had a reception for 50 people and a ceremony based on 1/3 of our capacity for 180 people. We can't do that now. Let's say you're booked for 6 months, 12 months from now, and things change, then more tables come out. You know, we're with you through the whole process. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm gonna know when things change, and we can always add bubbles if that's what's needed and grow as things grow.
So Dana, with that being said, when I noticed on your Facebook page, you're billing it as elopements, the weddings for 10 people, which I thought was, really ingenious, because a lot of people think they cannot get married right now, but they could have an elopement wedding. For many reasons, couples just want to move on and then have a party after, correct?
They do. Like I said, we have an in-house officiant. Karen Smallwood has been with us for years. She can help you plan whether it's a secular ceremony, a religious ceremony. Get married. I say, make your mother a grandmother. So let's do it. And if you want to have that party after, great. If not, you're married.
And Karen is an officiant that's right at your service, correct? At Water's Edge?
Right.
Okay, perfect. Do you have some tips on how couples can save money on their venue costs?
Absolutely. Not at the Water's Edge. Other locations, you can bring in your own alcohol. You get an SOP, a special events permit, liability insurance, and that's a great savings. Anything that's unopened, go back and return to the LCBO. We run the bar, so all of the alcohol comes through us, but I love slowing down the drinking. How about after the ceremony, just a champagne toast? Maybe closing the bar during dinner and speeches. I like a signature cocktail. I call everything a sea breeze, but who doesn't want to have something specialized to you, something blue or Alabama Slammer, where it's just a little bit of alcohol. So you could have a signature shot where it's not that ounce of alcohol and it brings the cost down, and everyone gets to enjoy the night as well.
This is the Pantone color of the year just came out.
Yes.
Correct, which is, I believe, illuminating yellow, they're calling it.
Lisa, you know what? I'm always behind the trends. I didn't know there were numerous shades of black. Lisa Best was discussing the yellow, but maybe growing up as a child, you had your heart set on a white wedding or black and white. You don't have to follow the Pantone. Go with what your heart is telling you. Maybe you always wanted a black and white wedding. Use your palette to make it special to you.
And Dana, I know illuminating yellow is the Pantone color of the year, and being a fashion stylist myself, I do watch these trends very closely. So I know that we're seeing a lot of blue this year. If we want to talk trends and colors, we are seeing a lot of blue, and that was the color last year. The Pantone color was kind of a deep, I would say, steel turquoise blue. So I anticipate that we might start seeing a lot more yellow coming up in the next year. But as you said, in your decor, picking your bridesmaids dresses, do what you want.
Right. Also, the girls planned for blue. They might have planned their wedding a year ago. The girls' dresses are still blue. The linen is still blue. The invitations, there's no right or wrong. Like I said, there are many shades of black, so you can have your wedding whatever color you want.
What are the top 3 considerations that you advise couples to keep in mind when making a decision on their venue location, Dana?
Location, location, location. I think that's always important. Do you want to have a wedding with a church feel? Is ample free parking important to you? Handicapped accessible, air conditioning? Do you want the option of having an outdoor ceremony, something in a courtyard? So all of these things have to come into consideration. Does the Water's Edge have all that? Maybe.
What should couples consider in regards to the bar service for their guests?
Like I said, you know, I've seen it all, whether it's a toonie bar, a loony bar, a dry wedding. There's no expectations. We've had weddings that were beer and wine only. You don't have to have mixed drinks. You know, everyone is there to see you get married, not going to that open bar. Okay. I say you should...
I'm going to step back. I want to know what a toonie and a loony bar is.
So your guests, if it's on your invitation, toonie bar, loony bar, your guests will know they will pay a toonie or $1 for their drinks. I say everyone becomes much more responsible once they committed a toonie to their drink. If you have a beer that's gone warm and your host is paying for it, maybe you're going to go to the bar and get another cold beer. But if you invested that toonie in your drink, then you're going to drink it before it gets warm and dance after. And then the couple pays the difference. It really makes everyone more responsible for their drinks and helps keep the cost down. I say to couples when they're planning, plan on 8 drinks per person. Like I said, I'm a grandma. I cannot have 8 drinks at your wedding, but maybe your best man is going to make up for me. And this is a way that you can really budget.
Do you require or suggest that couples look into event insurance for their wedding day? And if you do, explain the benefits of this to couples, Dana.
So, you know, I think COVID has really brought on some new changes. I'm not so familiar with the event insurance. I think that's going to cover everything from a stained wedding gown to a canceled event. So this is something we've never really had to prepare for, cancellations of events. All of my vendors are licensed and insured. Couples do not have to get their own insurance unless they're bringing in an SOP and liability. But otherwise, it could be a trend, cancellation insurance. So any couples out there that are insurance agents, we can talk trade, but it is something couples could plan and budget for and talk to their agent.
So I will expand on that a little bit because PAL Insurance has been a sponsor of our shows when we've had live shows for many years, and they offer cancellation insurance. It will no longer cover COVID. Yeah. So you can't buy it now. I can't buy insurance for my events any longer, and it covers COVID. It does cover risk of alcohol drinking because even if a venue is licensed and someone leaves your wedding and, you know, hopefully not, but gets in a car accident, they can come back and sue the bride and groom and the families or whoever hosted, as well as the venue and everyone else. So
and everyone involved, from everyone, you know, tripping on a photographer's cord. So that is something couples could look into. Thank God, I think all of us haven't experienced that.
Yeah, exactly. But we do know in this area, it did happen at our wine festival in Amherstburg. Right. I think that brought it to light a little bit more. Cancellation insurance will also cover, once again, let's hope this doesn't happen, but we all know in the industry it does, that a couple's engaged and for one reason or the other, they decide not to get married. They might split up. It covers cancellation of wedding. It covers if your envelopes, your gifts are stolen. Yeah. So it's something that I would encourage couples to look into. It's very low cost. I've run events of thousands of people and the insurance for the night was only $300. So PAL Insurance is something that I really encourage risk management all the time with events.
Is your husband an insurance agent?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
Not at all. No, and like I say, PAL is a company out of Calgary. They only specialize in event insurance here in Canada. So
look into
they've been a great friend of ours. And we, you know, tell us about a wedding that was extremely memorable for you, Dana, at the Water's Edge this past year when things changed so dramatically.
You know, I was a little prepared for this question, but not this past year. I have to say, One of my most memorable weddings was, and I hope you're listening, was a dry wedding. This couple was the sweetest couple. You know, I wasn't familiar with a non-alcoholic wedding, but you know, the bride and groom are the boss. They were on the younger side, religious, and it was such a spiritual wedding for me. There was so much love, so much family, so much dancing. They had decks of cards for people to play with. No one there missed the alcohol. And this bride has taught me so much. I am still friendly with her. I have seen two beautiful girls grow into their family. And I think sometimes as planning a wedding, you know, we can become friends. And this experience with this young couple really has left a lasting impression on me.
I love that. And once again, the norm doesn't have to be the norm to make a wedding great.
Oh, absolutely.
The most out of the box ideas, right?
Mm-hmm. No drinking and playing cards.
Should couples choose a venue based on their guest count as their first consideration, or should they pick the venue they want based on the style of the venue, the food service, and then make their guest list fit that venue?
You know, that's a very good question. In addition to that, there's sometimes other factors involved. Sometimes if you're lucky enough to have parents and in-laws paying for your wedding, you might have to go with their guest list. I've seen weddings with 600 people. I don't even know 600 people. The bride and groom might spend a good time hugging and kissing third cousins that they haven't seen in ages. But it's really a personal choice. Some couples have been members of societies and know they want to get married someplace. This is where their mother got married, their cousin got married. Other people fall in love with an option. You know, with us having an outdoor courtyard, it is confined to a certain amount of people. So if you want the courtyard, if you want an outdoor space, you have to work within those constraints. But it really is a personal choice.
So at the water's edge, you have 3 distinct spaces. Am I correct that people can get married?
Yes. So there is the courtyard, which actually now during COVID, we put in brand new landscaping. We're retraining ivy to grow. We have the white room, which used to be the social hall of the Holy Rosary Church, a beautiful white palette to work with. And then of course, the grand ballroom, which is really the main space. I say it has that church feel because it was a church. It really does make grandma happy. We can host weddings of 300 people, live music. It was made for public speakers, so the acoustics are great. During COVID, we also put in brand new sound systems. So we kept busy during COVID. So you really do have 3 options. And it's a boutique setting. If you're getting married in the white room, I'm not having a wedding upstairs. You're not crossing paths with another bride. You're not competing with the parking lot. So it really is a boutique space.
So we have opened the chat room. I have 2 really quick questions for you, and then we've got lots coming in, Dana. And you can make this just really 1-word answers. The 3 pieces of advice that you would give couples to enjoy their wedding day as stress-free as possible.
On that wedding day, drink lots of water. Enjoy a champagne toast, enjoy a whiskey sour, but keep yourself hydrated and refreshed and sober and enjoying it, because the day flies by. 8 hours will go in a blink of an eye. I say invest in a photographer and a videographer. On your 10th wedding anniversary, don't say, let's look at our first dance, and then say, oh, we didn't hire a videographer. I still look at my wedding pictures and video, and with children that got married abroad, I insisted on that so I can have something tangible to look at. And be prepared, you know, have a little bit of flexibility. Your timeline will be fluid. Maybe your mother-in-law is going to be 2 minutes late. Maybe speeches are going to run over. So just keep a little flexible. And again, that advice I like to give the couples, make your mother a grandmother.
I am married now. What's the next steps, Dana? You want to give some advice, I think.
To you? Oh, Connor? No.
Okay.
No.
So once you're married,
really to the couple.
advice. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go to the questions. What do you recommend for people? What do you, who do you recommend to walk Fido down the aisle and then leave with him for the night? This is on our to-do list to figure out.
So contact me, give me a call after this. There are pet handlers. So, I mean, your nearest and dearest are at the wedding. You don't want someone you're close with to leave with your dog, but your dog's not staying. So there are people that could keep your dog for the night, bring the dog back to your house. So you do have lots of options. And it's fun to bring in something very special like your dog into your wedding.
It is. And those pictures, when you see, you know, we'd love to put those up on our social media pages. Those pictures of the pets with the couple is just, I mean, they always get me. At the water's edge, do you have an in-house chef and DJ, or do you work with selected chefs and DJs, or can the bride and groom pick anyone they'd like?
So like I said, we just put in a brand new sound system. Your DJ that you've hired can plug into our system. So there's many great DJs in Windsor and the surrounding area. When it comes to food, I have 2 caterers that you're going to work with. Sometimes there's some flexibility when it comes to ethnic meals, but this is a relationship we've had from the very beginning. So it really is very seamless.
In your opinion, what's the best seating plan for the reception and guest list of about 80? I've been having a hard time with this part. And this is something that's changing as well with COVID too, right?
So, I mean, for 80, I always love the dance floor. So to have your guests surrounding the dance floor is nice. A trend is having the couple sit alone. Many couples sit with their bridal party. So that's an option. And then there's also couples that sit with their parents and in-laws. But I like everyone surrounding the dance floor so everyone could really see the couple when speeches are happening.
Will venues remind you or make sure you get the proper permits if you are bringing your own alcohol? Is that something?
They should. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to get a permit at the water's edge, but this really should be your venue's responsibility. If you show up the day of your wedding without a permit, that alcohol can't be served. We have an entire timeline that we work on together, so we know the flow. Your venue should have that for you as well. And if not, they're available, websites have them. So you do need that tickler to get it.
What do you recommend for people having an outside wedding at their aunt's huge property? Do you agree with them bringing their own alcohol and we supply the pop water and mixers? Oh, that's a loaded question, I have to say, when it comes back to risk management.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I heard when you're having an outdoor wedding on your aunt's property was have a plan B in case of weather. I was thinking of a tent and flooring. And then I think if it's at your own location, you're still going to need that insurance.
Yeah, I would really suggest BYOB is a little risky for weddings. I'd be very careful. I would definitely look into that PAL insurance.
Right, and the same thing with
opening yourself up to a whole can of worms.
Right, and the same thing with
someone trips that night.
Right, and Smart Serve. I mean, you need someone keeping an eye on the alcohol service.
Yeah. My plan is to have my siblings walk Fido down the aisle and then have a pet sitter check out Rover. So thank you, Natalie, for that suggestion.
And not only with dogs, but also young children. You want them walking down the aisle, but you know this little kid is going to crash and maybe their parents want to enjoy the rest of the evening. So the same thing with babysitters. We've had kids' tables at the water's edge with coloring books and activities.
Do you have enough room for 300 guests? Someone's asking Dana. And yes. And that's upstairs for 300?
Upstairs.
Upstairs. So they don't have to be upstairs and downstairs. With all the restrictions with COVID, is a dance floor allowed, or is this something that can be added if restrictions are lifted?
So it can be added if restrictions are lifted. A few weeks ago, when we were able to have 50-person receptions, there were 3 dances that were allowed. The first dance, mother, son, father, daughter, and music is kept low so no one's screaming above it. But music is still in the background for background music, but that was it for dancing. And I know that's hard. There's a lot of, I had ethnic couples say we must have dancing. I don't know any wedding that doesn't want to have dancing, but these are the parameters we have to work with.
And this is going to be the last question before we spin that wheel for the freed suit valued at $895. Does the Water's Edge provide photography?
We do not provide photography. Just now during COVID, we did come out with 50-person packages where everything's included, from food to officiant to photography to DJ. So I backtrack, yes. So we can work with you for a 50-person package.
Okay. Connor, are we?